Good morning, everybody. Good morning, besties. It's me, Waddles, and welcome to a brand new farm. Are you the sworn mortal enemy of the breeze? Are you hoping to get your hands on infinite wind charges? And, most importantly, are you playing on either Minecraft to Java or Minecraft to Bedrock? Doesn't matter. Well, if you answered yes to any of those questions, then today I've got the farm for you. By the end of today's video, I'll be showing you how to build my super simple breeze farm, and I'll show you how to scale it up so you can get even better rates too. Oh, and one more cool thing about this farm, it'll help you get your hands on not only wind charges, but a bunch of the other trial chamber loot and ominous loot if you run it that way too. Channel members, I got a brand new world download of this farm out for you right now. If this tutorial, the farm helps you out at all, tap that like button and let's take a look at the materials. To build this breeze farm in almost exact amounts, approximately a stack and a half of building blocks, 6 slabs, 3 hoppers, and a chest. Now, to build this breeze farm, the only spot you can find a breeze is a trial spawner, so that means you're going to need to head into a chamber. Backtracking a little bit when it comes to our building blocks, you could use any building block in the world that is solid. So something like glass, not so much, but something like maybe wood, yeah, that's fine. You're absolutely going to need to have some water sources, have those ready, maybe some torches to light things up, maybe consider getting yourself a better sword, and last but not least, because we will have to take out a trial chamber, maybe consider gearing yourself up with some armor as well. After that, you're good to go. For this farm build, just like pretty much every other farm in this game, location is crucial. Whether you're building your farm on Minecraft to Java or Minecraft to Bedrock Edition today, there is one spot that you need to begin your adventure at, and that's going to be a trial chamber. Now, great news, the trial chamber structure is one of the more common Minecraft structures, and if you hope to scale the farm up later on, make sure you have more than one breeze spawner across the chamber. Find yourself a trial chamber real quick because it's brand new. If you're looking to get your hands on Minecraft's freshest structure that you're going to need for today, first things first, get a villager, turn it to a cartographer. After that, with 2 stacks of paper in the inventory, begin trading with your cartographer. This is going to be the same on Minecraft to Java and Minecraft Bedrock. Trade with that villager paper until it levels up. That'll be about 2 stacks. Slide back in, then we have this glass pane trade every single time. With 2 stacks of glass panes, actually a whole lot less, trade with the villager a couple of times until it levels up one more time, then fingers crossed it works. Aha, yes it worked. At journeyman level, you have the chance to sometimes get a trial chamber map. Now for some alternative ways to locate the trial chamber, check out this video next. But anyways, after we get our hands on the map, take a look at it, spin around until you find that symbol, move over to the symbol, then it's time to dig straight down. Now inside of your chamber, the breeze spawner will always be marked with chiseled tuff around it. Inside of your chamber, any old breeze spawner will do, but if you can find a breeze spawner that's in a room like this, kind of situated out in the open, you'll guarantee yourself a little bit less work that you have to do. Not that it'll matter that much, because in the grand scheme of things, no matter what, it's not that many blocks, but if you find a breeze spawner out in the open, then you have to dig out less blocks. Alright, now the dangerous part. If you find yourself a trial chamber and you haven't taken it on yet, step number 1, the first move we need to do is move into this thing and carefully, cautiously take out every single spawner inside of the room that the breeze farm is going to be built in today. Excuse me, friends, stop it, no more. Carefully, we're going to move into this room and take out any other spawners, including the breeze spawner as well. But, no pun intended at all, once we can take out the mobs that pop into this room, the rest of the build today will be a literal breeze. With our chambers both done, dusted, and taken care of, a little chamber pro tip for you. So for this build today, you have a decision. If you have other spawners nearby, you got either A, walk up to the spawner and slowly but surely mine it, to break it and get rid of it, or to deactivate the spawner with solid blocks that you can't see through. Place them all the way around the spawner like I just did right there, and it actually won't be able to spawn mobs ever again. One thing to note though, you absolutely cannot use blocks that you could see through. So something like copper grates, glass, or leaves, no bueno. However, something like an oak log, perfect. Now our build today, we're going to work all the way around to this breeze spawner right here. This breeze spawner is situated on this platform, which is going to be kind of pretty much perfect for our build. For our breeze spawner, we're going to want to eventually build a room around this thing that is 1 block away from it. So like, we have our spawner centered wherever, then we have an empty space, then we build our wall. These walls are going to need to go all the way around the breeze spawner and are going to need to extend 2 blocks past the top of the breeze spawner. Above the breeze spawner, dead center, 2 more solid blocks. With solid blocks on top of it, anything that pops out of a spawner, like let's say a trial chamber key, will be sent out into our collection system. The roof of our breeze spawner, I mean, we kind of already have one here, so we don't really need to take it out. But if you had a breeze spawner that didn't have blocks above it, well, then you need to put blocks above it on that third block. So kind of like where all this stuff is right there, that's where the ceiling should be. And one final time, don't use blocks that you could see through on this build. Copper grates, glass, it will not work. Now, inside of this room, or your room, whatever you're setting this thing up in, you've got options on options. We've got a breeze spawner right here. We need to set up a simple collection system. Considering the fact that I already have a room right here in a big floor, I could go ahead and just drop the breeze from this spawner all the way down to this floor and make it easy. I like the idea of making this build as easy as possible, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Down below the breeze spawner on the floor that I want to use, I'm going to go into this thing and clear out some blocks. Then back up here around the breeze spawner, I will start taking out the entire floor around it and then continue doing that level by level until eventually I lower this room all the way down to the floor that I want to have. So now at this point in the build right here today, I've got a breeze spawner that is floating with blocks connected to the ceiling. Then I have walls almost all the way around it. We'll put this final wall in a minute. Meanwhile, on the inside of our eventual breeze farm, we've got a small cramped room looking something like this. On the bottom, a 3x3 floor. You pick a side, any side, it doesn't matter at all. Dig 3 blocks out along that side, and then also dig out 1 block on the front. 1 block on the front, that's going to be a chest. Go ahead and place that down. After that, crouch and place a hopper going on that chest to have it go into it. Then place another hopper going into that one, and 1 more hopper going into that one. To get your hopper placement just right, make sure you crouch and place the hopper onto the hopper so it bends and will funnel the items correctly. Now, if you really want to go super overkill, totally optional, you probably don't have to, but go ahead and remove an extra block and place 1 more chest to make a double chest, but totally you don't have to. Next to the chest on the front side, remove this block, and this block if they're there. Keep in mind that for today's build, your build site might look a little bit different. Any old breeze spawner will work. You might just have to dig out more blocks. On the block above this chest, upper half of it, slabs, going all the way along the front. That's going to keep breeze inside of it. On the back of this thing, going towards the hoppers, water bucket in the corner, that should make water that flows to the front. After that, last but not least down here, slab, slab, slab like that. With our slab placement floating above the ground down here, we'll ensure that we can 1, open the chest, and 2, experience can flow through to us. This upper window is what we're going to use to take out the breeze. Now, the distance between your spawner and the bottom floor where the water is sitting doesn't technically matter as long as it's at least 3 blocks. You see, the breeze is made out of wind, which means no matter what, it is never going to take any fall damage whatsoever. Last but not least today on our breeze farm, to finish this thing up, if we don't have blocks on this front side, we are now going to need to place blocks on the front side aside from 1 block, and this 1 block could be on any side, it doesn't really matter, but no matter what, we need to have 1 block open to where we could actually see the spawner itself. So now, with our full farm build done today, this probably didn't take you any longer than 30 minutes to build. If you want to use the farm, well, next, you need to wait. To actually use this farm, after waiting for 30 minutes, the spawner will become active again. To activate the spawner, all you need to do is move close enough to it and to where you can see the spawner. A couple options to be able to see the spawner. Option A, build up with building blocks, but you might want to be careful and use non-spawnable building blocks. Or option B, maybe some kind of permanent scaffolding situation. Either way, though, once you get even with the spawner where you can actually see it, it should activate and a breeze should spawn. The breeze should spawn on the inside of this chamber, however, and be trapped there. As long as you don't crouch and look at the eyes of the breeze, it also shouldn't really be able to see you, so you can just stand here and just take the breeze out. After you take out the first breeze couple swings, your second breeze should automatically fall down in same exact situation. Eventually, after you take the second breeze out, wait a second, and the reward will drop down too. Now, all of your drops will end up being funneled inside of the chest. Hopefully, maybe you're lucky and you get some keys as well, but definitely some breeze rods at the least. And then, after that, tragically, if you want more wind charges, it's back to square one. You need to wait again. Go ahead and wait 30 more minutes, move back over to your spawner, climb your scaffolding, get even with the spawner, it lights up, and just like that, the whole trial, the challenge, it all begins exactly the same again. Now, next up, let's talk about the rates. So, for starters here, what the devs did with the wind charge breeze rod situation, I mean, it is nice. 1 breeze rod condenses down into 4 wind charges, but still, even 4 wind charges, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's not really that much. Like we talked about in the Everything series episode for the breeze will always drop a breeze rod. However, by default, it's only 1 to 2. There's an easy way to raise it. By taking a little bit of time at the magic station and getting your hands on the looting 3 enchantment and putting that on your sword, you will guarantee yourself 4 to 8 breeze rods every single time instead. And the breeze, being a hostile mob, is going to be affected by the sharpness enchantment, which means if you can go ahead and get sharpness 5 on your sword, that means with sharpness 5 on your sword, you'll have to swing it a little bit less. Now, by default, a trial spawner without any bad omen coming into play is going to spawn 2 breeze. We'll get 1 breeze, and then we take it out, we'll get a 2nd breeze. The devs, however, designed the trial chamber structure with the multiplayer in mind. If you can find a friend to hop on your world, realm, whatever, just somebody to come over to your brand newly built breeze farm and walk over to it as well, then you'll get an additional breeze per person. According to this chart that is up to date as of Minecraft 1.21, for the breeze, a breeze will spawn every 20 game ticks. By default, it'll have 2 mobs total. Every single extra player adds 1 total mob, but without more than 2 extra players at any single moment, only 1 breeze will be able to exist. But if you're anything like me and you kind of prefer that single player vibe, there is another way to speed up your breeze farm, and that is, of course, because the farm is so cheap and easy to build, maybe consider moving around the rest of your trial chamber. By the way, this one is absurd. Maybe consider moving around the rest of your trial chamber and finding yourself other breeze spawners, more of them. Find a couple of more of them instead of the same exact farm at all of the rest. Unfortunately, with such a painful 30-minute cooldown, your best bet is probably going to be go throughout the rest of your trial chamber and build more tiles of this. Thankfully, you could make this actually a really safe process and easy too by taking on the trial chamber the first time, blocking off or removing all additional spawners, and then because no mob spawn is out of the trial chamber, there's no like additional mob proofing or anything that you need to do. Just build your other breeze farms, go back and forth, and take the breeze out. Use looting 3 always, no matter what, to maximize the amount of drops that you could get, and I mean, in no time, you'll start raking in the breeze rods and also be able to farm the other trial chamber drops as well. Another cool little option here is taking a look at this design, how we built this thing. Well, knowing about the other trial spawners and how they spawn mobs, you could theoretically take this exact design, build the same thing except have a skeleton spawner in the middle, and at the same time, you could farm skeletons as well. But I think that's a conversation for another time. Anyways, you're super easy to build a breeze farm. That's just about it. One small little troubleshooting thing, if you're having trouble with breeze spawning outside of your spawner, well, that's because the spawner can see a spawnable block. That means if you built your platform that you climb up to like see the spawner and breeze are spawning outside, well, you're gonna need to swap those blocks out for non-spawnable ones. Maybe use something like glass, or even better, just get scaffolding. It's pretty easy. If you got any extra questions, throw them down in the comments below and I'll do my best to get to you, or on my subreddit r/waddles. Channel members, you remember that world download. A huge thank you to all my channel members and patrons who help me make content just like this. Check out the tutorial playlist for more farms you need in your life. It's been me, Waddles, and I will see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.